Hi guys, happy fall, happy spooky season. Here are all the books that I would love to read in fall. October, plus some recommendations because as much as I'd love to read every single one of these books, fall is not long enough, unfortunately. For me, when I think of fall, I think of mysteries, thrillers, horror, and fantasy because fall equals fantasy. Argue with your mom. I love fantasy fall. Vampires, werewolves. The books I recommend will have stuff like that. I'll give a little synopsis, and I did look up the synopsis of these books for you guys because I know I love to go in blind, but I was like, if I'm going to recommend these without having read some, because like I said, a lot of these are on my TBR, I'm going to need to give a synopsis. But if you do read these before I do and it happens to be bad, I apologize. I'm sorry. We can talk about how bad it was together. But hopefully they're all great. So in no particular order, let's go. I've got a tote bag full of books right here for this video. Y'all don't want to know how many times I shot this video. Like, you don't want to know how many times I shot this video. First book we have is What a Match by Mimi Grace. It's an adult romance. Grumpy Sunshine. It's her brother's best friend in forced proximity. You know it's about to be really good with all those tropes. I've heard amazing things about Mimi Grace, and I personally am not a huge fan of cartoon covers unless they look like this. All the details, I love it. I don't like the really vague looking cartoon covers. I want to know exactly what these people look like. Give me everything, and I think this is so detailed. Love it so much. I could get so specific about book covers. I love a good book cover. Now we have A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. This will be a reread for me. Ava Reed is just an amazing author. This is a YA fantasy. Dark academia, academic rivals. I think it's a great read. The Shadow Sister by Lily Mead. This is a YA speculative thriller. If you don't know what that means, it means a thriller with supernatural things going on. It follows two sisters, Sutton and Casey. They do not get along. They're not friendly with each other. A lot of animosity, honestly. But Sutton goes missing, and Casey and Sutton's mom is like, please don't say anything that could jeopardize this case to Casey, because she's like, I know you don't like her, but people could think there's some strange things going on if her sister's talking bad about her and Casey. That's a big deal for her. But when Sutton comes back, the only thing she remembers is Casey. Interesting. House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. This is a YA horror. It follows three sisters, more books with sisters, but when they're younger, they go missing for a month and they come back, but they don't remember what happened. They have no recollection, no memories. When they get older, Gray goes missing again, and this is the story of what happens while Gray is missing and what happened when they were missing for that month when they were younger. YA horror. And it's a standalone, so that's it. What you see is what you get. I love a good standalone nowadays because everything is like a 5-book series. Like, give me, I'm a trilogy, duology, standalone girl. Really am not into series that are longer than like 3 books. House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig. This is a YA horror. It is a dark fairy tale retelling of 12 Dancing Princesses, and I don't remember the story of 12 Dancing Princesses at all. I don't remember what happens. I'm really excited for this. This is a book that I have really only heard good things about, and Erin A. Craig recently came out with another book, House of Root and Ruins, which is a companion book to this. Like, you don't need to read this to read that, and vice versa, but I'm gonna. Juniper and Thorn by Ava Reed. This is an adult gothic horror, and it is a retelling of the juniper tree. I love this cover so much. More horror. None of these are like super scary. I'm not someone who likes to read super scary books. I'm a scaredy cat, so give me the fun scary, like the fun horror. Then I have Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This is a YA fantasy. Follows 2 rival writers. They are communicating with each other through magical typewriters, which I love that so much. I've heard that this is very cozy, whimsical, mystical, just a fun read. And come on out, the Rebeccas are winning this year. Rebecca Ross and Rebecca Yarros have wrote 2 of the biggest books that came out this year. Somehow they're releasing book 2 also this year. That hasn't happened, I feel like, in a long time, where 2 books come out in the same year. That's trad publishing. Usually it's indie publishing where authors spit out books like that. Trad publishing, I feel like I never see that anymore, so I think that's awesome because book 2 comes out in December, and this book did not come out that long ago. But I'm so excited for that one. All I've Wanted, All I've Needed by A.E. Valdez. This is a romance novel, and this is the first in a series. I know that much. I've had this one for so long. I need to finally read it. The romance girlies love this, and I'm gonna see if I'm gonna love it too. Sign of the Slayer by Sharina Harris. This is a YA fantasy. It follows a girl who just wants to be normal, but she's at an academy learning how to slay dragons, learning how to slay vampires, and she is not with it. And then she actually becomes face to face with the Vampire King, who she says is something else. This sounds really good. It's been a minute since I've read a book with vampires. Maybe like 3 months, I feel like. If that's even been a minute. Hollow Heathens by Nicole Fiornia. This is a paranormal romance. It follows a girl named Fallon. She goes to this small town to take care of her grandfather, and while she's in this small town, she meets Julian, and Julian has a mask over half of his face because if anybody sees Julian's whole face, they'll die because he's cursed. sounds interesting enough. This is the YA version of Hollow Heathens, but Nicole Fiornia actually wrote another version, which is an adult version, but I got the YA version, and book 2 is out, Bone Island, and that cover is so gorgeous, pretty, spooky, creepy, eerie vibes. Gallant by V.E. Schwab. This is a YA horror. It follows Olivia. She's an orphan. She has no ties to her mom except, like, nothing that her mom left her except a journal. And in the journal, her mom specifically tells her to never, ever, ever visit Gallant. And what happens to Olivia when she gets older? She gets a letter telling her to go where? Gallant. And where does this girl go after her mom told her specifically not to do that? She goes to Gallant. Come on now, Olivia. You had one job. No plot, just vibes. Gothicana. This is an adult, dark academia, gothic romance. So, that's a lot. It takes place in a university setting, which, like dark academia, I love books that have a university setting. I think it's such a great vibe. I feel like I just fall in love with books that are in that setting. I don't know. Because it reminds me of like Oxford, which I've always wanted to visit because it just is so beautiful. But yes, I love that setting in the dark academia because like something going on behind the scenes, and I'm really excited to get into this. I've heard this is very spooky. And this book has like a million covers. I remember when I was trying to find this book, I was like, what cover do I pick? There's like 10. But yeah. Gothicana by Runix, and Runix also has another series like The Predator, I don't know what it's called, but she has another series that is very popular as well. So this, Gothicana. Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. This is YA, I believe, and there is 6 books in this series. Yeah, 6 books in this series. This is an older series, but I really want to get into it. Vampire Academy, I feel like that sums it up. I'm assuming this is Vampires at an Academy. And there's also a show, so if the book is good, I'm gonna watch the show. Crave by Tracy Wolff. This is a paranormal romance series. There's a lot of books in this series, and I feel like every time I go to the store I find another one, I'm like, how many are there? But I'm gonna give this a shot because I heard someone say that Crave, the Crave series, is the only series that ever compared to Twilight. Have I read Twilight? No. So that really doesn't mean much, but everybody and their mama loves Twilight, and I mean everybody and their mama loves Twilight. Twilight should probably be on this list because I need to finally read it. That was enough to sell me. I was like, you know what? Sold. And this was at the thrift store, so I love a good deal. A Crown of Chains by Aaron Phillips. This is a fantasy retelling of the story of Esther in the Bible. So I love when books have this. So pretty. This is YA, I believe, or maybe new adult. Sononic by Christian Travis. This is a fantasy romance. It's adult. I am so hyped for this when the author sent me this, and I love the cover. My friend read this book before me, and she said it starts off as like a contemporary romance and slowly turns into a fantasy, and I love that so much. I've been putting this off for a little while, but I can't anymore because it's time. That was so dramatic. But seriously, it's time. The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. This is a YA paranormal thriller suspense book. It follows Mara. She wakes up at a hospital because she was in an accident that she has no recollection of, and all of her friends were killed in this accident except her, but she's not buying the story that she's hearing at all. She's determined to get to the bottom of it. And there's also a little romantic subplot. In the spin-off series, it's about the love interest. His name is Noah Shaw. But what's funny is 2 out of 3 books are out in that series, and it says book 3 is coming out in 2053, so like, are they gonna finish? Like, is she gonna finish the series? Is that a glitch online? Like, I don't understand that, but I think that is so. This series is completed, so whether or not we get the Noah Shaw series complete, we got this one complete. Belladonna and Foxglove by Adeline Grace. These are YA paranormal romances. This one has a murder mystery. I believe these are standalones in the same world or like companion books, but this one, it's about a girl who falls in love with death. Under the Dust Jacket are the most beautiful covers ever, and the end papers for both of them, first editions. And Barnes & Noble has one like this, but it's like completely red. So beautiful. The Stars Are Dying by Chloe C. Piñaranda. This is an adult fantasy romance. All I know about this one is that it's the first in a series, and I think enemies to lovers romance. I'm so excited. One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. This is an adult fantasy with vampires, and it's a Romeo and Juliet retelling. More art. I know it's gonna be sad if it's a retelling of Romeo and Juliet. I think this is the first Romeo and Juliet retelling I've read, I believe. I'm pretty sure. These are all the physical books that I have to recommend to you and that are on my TBR. I can't read all these, but I'm gonna try as hard as I can to stick to my TBR, like all these books for this month, and not go off of. I'm gonna show you what I have on my Kindle because I don't know, sometimes late night Kindle reads are just a fun time. And last month I read 25 books. I was trying to do the 30 books in 30 days challenge and missed by 5 books. It's because I was reading books that I didn't really enjoy that much, and me personally, I'm gonna power through. I'm not gonna DNF, and then I can decide whether or not I want to keep the book and like save shelf space if I finish, because if I never finish, I'm gonna keep thinking, well, what if it gets better at the end? Out of the 25 books, I think I really loved 3. And if you want a reading wrap up, I was thinking about doing a reading wrap up, but I was like, you guys want to see last month where I read 25 books, or do you guys want to see from where I left off like 3 months ago, because I haven't done a wrap up in a while? Let me know in the comments what you would rather see. Okay, first is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Lori Gilmore. This is an adult romance. It's a cozy mystery because there's a murder mystery going around and they're trying to find out who done it. It is the cutest cover. Nocticadia, which is another adult dark academia gothic romance. I heard that's what Gothicana was. I was like, okay, wow, that's like really specific and really like niche. Surely I'll never hear of another book like that. Then I hear of Nocticadia. Wow, pretty similar. Craven Manor by Darcy Coates. It's an adult horror, but it's like more of a fun horror. It takes place at a haunted house, and I love haunted houses to an extent. Like, I don't want to be like genuinely scared for my life, but like a fun little, like jump scare. Never hurt nobody. Hopefully. Now, a book that I probably won't read that I've heard is really scary is No One Rides for Free. It just looks super scary, so I don't think that's for me. But if you want a book that's like actually scary, there you go. On my Kindle, I also have The Bake Shop at Pumpkin and Spice. It just seems so cute and so cozy. And then we have One Dark Window, which is a gothic fantasy. That sounds really good. Those are all the books on my October TBR, October Hopefuls, books to pick from that I think will be amazing. I hope you got some recommendations from this video as well. And if you've read any of these already, let me know in the comments what you thought about them. Liked it, loved it, it was alright, not for you at all. Tell all in the comments, and stay tuned for some reading vlogs coming. I have a really fun vlog that I'm so excited for coming out soon, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. But yeah, thanks so much for watching this video. Until next time, bye guys. The people will never know how many takes this video took. 5 takes. Really up close and personal. Okay, let's back it back up.